Yes guys, what is up? Welcome to Supercars of London in a slightly different video today because I'm driving my girlfriend's Jaguar E-Pace, and to make this video it comes as a slight inconvenience because I've had to drop her off at work and I have to pick her up later. But I wanted to make this video because it has now been 12 months, 1 year since she collected the car from Saxton 4x4, and I believe not only does she love it more and more each day, and definitely more than when she collected it, even though when she collected it she was in love with the spec and the whole shape of the Jaguar and the idea of owning a car this size, I also think she loves this car more than me, which wouldn't surprise me because I think from the outside it is a beautiful looking car. I think Jaguar nailed the proportions of the E-Pace, but I always felt, even from day one when we were looking for an SUV for sub 30 grand, that the interior on this wasn't quite up to par with its German rivals. And well, my girlfriend has sworn to never sell this car, and if she does, it's for the new facelifted E-Pace. And whilst the weather is quite good today, and it probably would have been a nice day down in the south where the roads are okay, I've decided to go up to Scotland, get my hands on the plug-in hybrid variant of the brand new 2021 E-Pace to compare the difference from this to a car that started out as a facelift idea, has fundamentally been redeveloped to be a brand new car. So we're going to be forgetting about this diesel dinosaur that when you put your foot down, it sounds a little bit like a transit van. It gets quite loud in the interior cabin. And we're going to go and test the brand new E-Pace, which I think is a massive and quite beautiful upgrade. We have to start at the side of the road testing the 2021 Jaguar E-Pace. We've got the Scottish roads in front of us. A few motorbikes have just gone past, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be a good driving road. Not that we're here to test the 100% performance and dynamics of this car, but I want to understand the differences between the E-Pace that my girlfriend has and this one. And we start with the obligatory Jaguar GoPro angle that gives this incredible view of another massively improved interior. The Jaguar E-Pace of old, my girlfriend's car, was the one thing that I was trying to pull my girlfriend away from. We test drove the Audi Q3 and we test drove a Jaguar E-Pace. When we drove the Jaguar E-Pace, the demonstrator that we drove, the screen didn't even work. The touchscreen didn't even work. There was rattles everywhere. Everything was cheap and plasticky. And the Audi Q3, even though it was the same price point and competitor, there was so much more luxurious materials, and the build quality, you could tell, was superior. The virtual cockpit, you had the screens here, and then you had the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which even still now to this day is better than the Meridian in my personal opinion. But this car, the P300e, all E-Paces now come with this interior, and it is game changing. Like what I said with the F-Pace SVR, I now feel like this is elevated to the 47,920 on the road price. This particular spec is 53,730, so 50 grand for a mini SUV. But what you get with this, obviously being a hybrid, is you have the ability to be able to switch it between electric and petrol. You can add both together so that you get a combined total of 309 PS, 540 Newton meters of torque, which means a 0 to 60 time in 6.1 seconds. I'm not going to read off this laminated screen for too much longer. But the two things that I find, again, with the new Jaguar facelifts is the front end and the headlight design has transformed the way that you see this car, and it has enhanced the road presence of the E-Pace, not E-Type. But the one thing that I also want to say is this new blue fire, blue metallic paint is impeccable. Combined with the black pack, it is such a good looking car. I am in drive. Just cruising around in electric mode in a hybrid E-Pace. It's quite bizarre because my girlfriend's is a diesel. It's a little bit archaic. I know my girlfriend's going to watch this video because she'll be intrigued to know what I think about the E-Pace, even though I will tell her after today. But I really like it. This is going to be somewhat of an expensive video because there is a whole new level of luxury to not even listening to an engine motoring you along. But we've got a full digital dash, we've got this beautiful screen here, which isn't quite as impressive as the F-Pace, which you would expect, given the fact that the F-Pace is the one above this. But then all of these buttons down here and dials just have a really expensive feel about them, which the E-Pace of old doesn't have. And then, I mean, if I really wanted to get my foot down, I mean, it goes much more surprisingly than you would expect. That wasn't even in dynamic mode. What I might do is put it into dynamic mode, put the gearbox into sport, just to test, because Jaguar have gone to town on the E-Pace from the ground up. Suspension, handling, the full driving dynamics of the E-Pace have been transformed. And now with the fact that you can get it in this hybrid mode, I mean, it's more power than you'll ever need, especially on a road like this. But in general, oh, that's nice. Focus RS in like a satin purple wrap. When you look at Jaguar and Land Rover's product range, you kind of feel like there might be a little bit more excitement in other cars. But honestly, the size of this, the low center of gravity, the weight of it, plus the power, the hybrid, it's a really enjoyable car to drive fast. And as a daily, you do not want much more than this. I've had a few experiences of driving Porsche Macans, and this feels sharper. It feels like a richer experience. It feels like it's got more character. It might not have the sound that a Porsche will have, and it definitely doesn't have the Porsche badge, but Jaguar are getting there, and that's the most exciting thing for me. So whilst the P300e, the hybrid version, is the icing on the cake, it's the cherry on the top that my girlfriend might not necessarily need. She drives her car for work, and she basically does around 15,000 miles a year. It's probably a little bit excessive to be going and spending 55 grand on a brand new car for that. But I will be convincing her no end that in the next 6 months, 12 months, she won't want to sell the car, by the way. She will not want to sell her E-Pace. She loves it so much. But if I could convince her, if we could find a similar spec in the same color that has this interior and the front end and these new clever Jaguar tricks to make the car a far more enjoyable driving experience, and even just from the ride quality, it feels more supple and more compliant, that you can ride these country roads with a much more luxurious suspension setup. And for the small amounts of time that I do get to drive my girlfriend's car, it can be a little bit bumpy. It can feel like you're riding all of the bumps on the road, and the suspension feels a lot looser. This whole car is tighter, better, far more luxurious, has more character, looks better in my opinion, and feels much better value for money. And thinking about the day where we drove Audi Q3 and E-Pace back to back, and the Audi was leaps and bounds ahead of the Jaguar, and my girlfriend still went and bought the Jaguar. Personally, I thought that was a wrong decision, but now looking back, she loves the car, and there is a new one that I will try and put my best sales pitch voice on to try and sell this to her, because it is a properly impressive bit of kit.